Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice coming to you live once again from the studios of Video Sign Incorporated. Why? Because it snowed like crazy this morning. I got a ton of snow in my driveway. I've got to go out there and shovel right after the show. So let's get going. Let's get the show underway on this Straight Talking Thursday. Well, believe it or not, this is show number 647 in the series on January 22nd, 2026. So there you go. You know where we're at. Let me have a sip of water. We're going to get going. The weather, like I said, is frightful, although right now it's sunny out here. It's actually a beautiful, beautiful morning to go out and shovel the 2 or 3 inches of snow that we have on the ground right now. It looks nice and light and fluffy because it has been cold. At 5:30 when I got up, it was 28 degrees, 86% humidity, and the barometer in a downward trend sitting at 29.12, and snow was coming down steady at that point. Um, Man, it's like Groundhog Day. Every day you wake up, you look out, you look at the light, it's snowing, you get up, it's snowing out, you got to go and shovel. It's repeating after me, and Sylvester here, he's all right. He's safe and warm in the studio. He don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to worry about anything. So with all the snow, and we're going to get more on Sunday. They said there's another big storm blowing in on Sunday. Are you kidding me? Well, Monday is City Council agenda review day because next Tuesday, and the agenda should be out this morning, is the budget. January 27th, they're going to be going through the operations budget. I already went all through it with you. I hope you took notes, but I will be talking about it again tomorrow. Going through the agenda on Monday, talking a little bit about it. So I'll give you lots of reminders. Don't worry about it. Just keep tuning in and you'll know exactly what's going on. Believe me. Yeah. So it's like a Groundhog Day. Every day you wake up, it's the same thing. Show, shovel, show, shovel. Get prepared. Show, shovel. It's a never-ending vicious circle of snow and everything. But that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter to me. I don't mind doing the show. I don't mind shoveling it. To be honest with you, I like shoveling. My job when I was younger working on the roads was shoveling. So to me, shoveling is no big deal. No big deal. I've got a snowblower. Don't worry about it. But I don't use it unless I have to. I would just as soon shovel if I can. Look at this. See, this is why. Keep your muscles. Look at that. Keeps your muscles all nice and strong. Okay, so let's get into the show. First, my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Now, you look outside, here's this weather coming at you again. Do you want to break down? No, absolutely not. Don't be a chooch. And I wore this shirt for a reason today because there's somebody else who's a chooch that I'm going to talk to later on. Don't be a chooch. Get your car into Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Get it checked out. Get it winterized. Snow tires if you don't have them on already. Let Ken Hunter take a look at your car and make sure it's running great. You do not want to break down in the middle of this kind of weather. It's not fun. It's not funny. Get your battery checked. That could go low in this weather. Get your cooling system. Get your heating system. Get everything checked at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership, a full body shop. You get in a wreck, they'll take your car in, send it back to you in showroom condition, just like you picked it up out of Falls Chevy or wherever the heck you bought it from. Wild Bills, wildbillsauto.ca, that's their website. Go check it out. You'll see the services they provide. While you're there, just jump really quickly over to my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire 4973. Or search Your City, Your Voice. You'll find it. It's there. You can go to Rumble X. It's on Rumble and X too. Every show's on there. And subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave a comment. We always have comments. But it helps the algorithm. It helps to get the show to more people. The more, the merrier. This is a move towards October 26th, 2026, when we have an election. 10/26/26. The election's coming down. And if what you're seeing on City Council right now doesn't amuse you, doesn't make you happy, you don't think you're getting a fair shake as a taxpayer, That's the day you settle all family business right there. Throw the bums out if you don't like them. Vote them back in if you like them. Either way, get out and vote. 27% turnout doesn't cut it. Come right here to find out who you should be voting for, why you should be voting for them. Don't worry, we're going to cover everything from now until the election. We'll be talking to people, we'll be giving you opinions. We may even get a few in here. We'll see what happens. But this is the place to be. Your city, your voice on 4680q.com. That's where I usually am, in the studios of 4680Q on Chrysler Avenue, across from the Meteor Crater. But in these bad weather days, I just don't go. I don't go anywhere. Man, I do not want to slip and fall and break a hip or do something stupid like that. So I just stay where it's safe, right here. Then I go out and shovel. Pretty simple. Okay, so I got to give a shout out, speaking of snow, to our snow removal team in this city. I mean, they don't get a lot of credit, and a lot of people complain, but I'm going to tell you, we've had over 2 feet of snow in the last couple weeks. And my street is done. I'm telling you, I am on the street. I had Marianne Tickey from the maintenance department in here talking about how they orchestrate, choreograph, if you will, the snow removal. And believe me, this street here is at the bottom of the pack, bottom of the list. Main streets, bus routes, that kind of thing, done first. I am the bottom of the pack. And guess what? My road was cleared within probably about 5 or 6 hours of when the snow actually ended. Seriously, I'm looking at maybe a week. I won't see these guys for a week. No, they came by, they plowed. The snow is being removed. I don't know how they do it and got to the very worst of the streets very last so fast, but they did it. And I got to give them a shout out. I got to give them kudos. Good bunch of guys that are there taking care of business, and women, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen a women snow plow driver yet, but I'm sure there are. But for the most part, great job. And I know Chris Dabrowski got up and gave him a shout out at City Council meeting on Tuesday. Well deserved. Good job, Chris. I mean, somebody's got to give them credit for what they do, and they do a really good job this year. And if somebody's complaining, I'm telling you, my street is at the bottom of the list, and they were here, so I can't really say that that they're doing a bad job. They're doing a good job. Way to go! Good for them. And thanks to the crews, and for the crews out there on the streets, be careful, be safe out there. There's a lot of idiots rolling around these streets. People who shouldn't even be on the streets in bad weather, but they're out there driving around and sliding all over the place, getting in accidents. So be careful when you're driving those plows too. You got a lot of morons driving on the streets with you, even though they shouldn't be. Viewer comments at Penny Brookify. Hello, Penny Brookify. I agree with your assessment of Mr. Burdett and the Integrity Commissioner. Council treats him like crap, and now he's getting railroaded by the IC. He's a property owner who has the right to scrutinize council. As Father Leo told me, very good friend of mine, Father Leo, there are rules and then there are rules. And we see it every week at City Council. There's rules, then there are rules, which means the rules are not applied equally to all. I agree 100%. The rules are not applied equally, and my point always is council made the rules. They made the rules. Burdett goes by them, and then council gets mad at Burdett, and they want to do stupid things, which we'll talk about in a little while here. He's going by their rules. And they get mad at him and launch stuff against him all the time. I mean, we know. He sent in letters from the shadow counselor of Niagara Falls or whatever it was called, right? And then they finally banned the letters. They're not going to put them anymore. He'd send them in to be put in the council agenda. They banned them. So what did he do? He said, okay, you won't take my letters? I'll come in person and do delegations. He did that. Then they put this 5-minute clock in, which is so disturbing. These people are cagoots. They're chooches. They put this 5 minute clock in, and you've got people up there talking, and this thing's beeping, beep beep, and beep beep. I mean, get rid of that thing. Come on, get rid of that thing. That's stupid. And then they put these rules in, and now they won't let them delegate anymore. It's so ridiculous what these the council people. I don't get it. I don't get it, but you can. It's obvious to see the vendetta against Jody Burnett. I mean, there's no way to think about it any other way. Everything they've done is against Jody Burnett. That's the way it is. So anyway, I agree with you at Penny Brookify. Thank you for the comment. We appreciate it. Comments can be left on the video. At Your City, Your Voice on YouTube. Subscribe, leave comments, and get notifications of the show. Okay, let's move on to City Council notes. A couple things to talk about. Item 8.1 was Palfinger and the apartments that want to be developed at on Dorchester and Oldfield Road out in the north end of the city. And I never understood why this was in front of council. It didn't make any sense. I couldn't make sense of it. Like, there was no decision made. It wasn't approved by planning. So why was this even on the agenda, this bill? Now I know why. Palfinger has an objection to this bill. And I think they know it's going to get built. It's going to be okay. There's no reason not to okay it. So this was their passageway in the city council before a decision was made to get their objections on the table. And of course, the representative from Palfinger, general manager, whoever he was, I can't remember, it really doesn't matter, gave a nice presentation to council, made mostly of fear mongering. And the fear mongering was basically, well, we're going to expand to 3 shifts, the noise for that apartment building there, we're going to get complaints, and the MOE will be in, and blah, 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 blah. All these promises are not really promises, just this saying what they're going to do. They're going to expand. They're the only one of this in Canada. They have plants all over the world, but this is the only one in Canada. And, this is going to disrupt their bit. It was all baloney anyway. It was just all fear mongering. I mean, the city council was falling for it big time. And that's the reason they allowed this, because it didn't make sense to be before council when the planning department hadn't even gone through it and approved it or said no to it. Now, of course, the planning department saying, "Oh, we need more information." Hey, that's fine. You have to make your decision based on information. But at the end of the day, why bring it before council before a decision's going to be made? It doesn't make sense. But it does when you look at it in the bigger scope of Palfinger making a case to city councilors, to planners, to people, to everybody about why they don't want this there, even though whether they want it there or not is irrelevant. We are under the create more housing faster plan. We are trying as a province to build more homes, like 1.5 million by 2031. So they're okaying a lot of stuff, and they're trying to okay it fast. So this is a way not have to go to the OLT, because what happens is, and heaven forbid, some of these city councilors actually understand what the process is after 4 years, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. But what happens is the planning department says yes. They appeal to council. Council says no. Developer takes it to OLT. Council loses, costs taxpayers $100,000, and it gets built anyway. So what they're trying to do is do a preemptive strike here, Palfinger. And they said they're going to have a major expansion and hire more people. I mean, how often do we get sucked in on this kind of stuff from these industries? Really, I'm serious. How often do we get sucked into this? We get sucked in a lot. I mean, look at the Ontario government, Ford, giving billions to these EV plants because they want to keep them going and they want to keep everybody employed. And what do? They shut them down anyway because economic conditions really dictate what's going to happen with a plant. If it's economically feasible to keep it going and running, they'll do it. If not, they'll pull it. They don't care how much money you gave them or what concessions you've made to have them there. That doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with it whatsoever. So we have to get over this when an industry gets up there. And we saw it happen again later on in the council meeting. We have to get over these industries coming in and making these big promises or telling us what their future plans are if a development doesn't go in. Oh, but if it goes in, we might not do that. That has very little to do with it. That has very little to do with it at all. And of course, Serge Filicetti, the economic development guy, I don't know what the hell he actually does, but he was there and he's warning council this bill could make these guys another fear mongering thing from him. He never really said it was going to happen, but he insinuated it was kind of to sway the decisions of people. You know, listen, if they're going to move, they're going to move. If they're going to stay, they're going to stay. That apartment building, whatever it is, feet away from them, isn't going to make a difference. They don't care. And, caveat emptor, right? Let the buyer beware. There's a factory right next to you. That factory runs 24 hours a day. Trucks are going in and out. You're not going to get an apartment there if that doesn't satisfy you, if you don't think that's right. So I think this grand illusion of prosperity always comes into play. And we'll see. But the planners, they don't work on that. The planners don't work on emotion. City council works on emotion. Residents work on emotion. The city planners work on facts. Does this meet with the provincial, federal, regional, municipal planning act? Does it fit as far as the bill goes? Does it adhere to all the bylaws, all the parameters? If it does, they have to say okay. Because if they don't say okay and they go to the OLT is going to approve it. And they're going to make decisions that our city council should make. You can't send everything to the OLT. Our councilors and our planners have to decide. For the most part, our planners do. The council always gets sidestepped in some of this stuff. They got to be tougher. You're not going to please everybody. But what's right is right. It seems to meet all the criteria. The developers have done their studies and have met the parameters of the build and are just waiting from the final case from the Ministry of whatever. So we have an election year here, and we'll see what happens with this one. But if I had to make an educated guess, I would say planners are going to come back, say that they approve the build, and then it's up to council to say no and send it to the OLT or approve it. Hellfinger, go ahead with whatever you're going to do. Or move to the industrial park. Or maybe even move right out of here. Who knows? We don't know what they're going to do. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Economic conditions will probably judge whether they're going to stick around or not. Way, way more than an apartment building. So as we get to item 8.2, and that's the that was the spring blossom one, I think. I think we saw that at oh, hold it, I haven't finished with 8.2 is spring blossom, but I haven't finished with this one because I have an aside to this discussion. And it really, really irks me that this was said. As a matter of fact, it pisses me off. A really stupid comment from Councilor Carrio. And you know what? I don't usually get on Councilor Carrio. I think he's one of the better counselors, but I think maybe his old age is starting to creep up on him or something, because he said he called uh, Trump a kook. Nah, he didn't say Trump's a kook, but he said that kook in the South, which obviously points to Trump. Now, why are these people all blaming everything on Trump? He's blaming an apartment building on Trump. Like, why even mention that? I mean, these woke people, they creep everywhere. They creep around, and they just look for something to blame on Trump. And if it's not Trump, if they like Trump, it's climate change. It's one or the other. But why does he have to say that? The kook to the South. Now, it might not bother anybody, but for me, like, I don't get it. Why even say that? It doesn't make any sense. And it just pissed me off when he said that. I don't know if anybody else caught it. I know Gary Wilkins did, because he messaged me and said, "Did you hear what Gary said about Trump?" And I'm going, well, yeah, he said the kook to the South, which is definitely about Trump. Who else is the kook to the South? The guy sitting in the gallery to the south of him? I mean, no, it's Trump. But why even say that? Why even say that? It has nothing to do with anything. If he's implying the economy or Pelfinger's going to move because something Trump's going to do, no. Pelfinger's going to move, if anything, because of the economic conditions made by 10 years of Trudeau and Carney. Now, right? That's why they're going to move. That's why industry is moving out. Trump is going to make America great again. That's his whole thing. He's not the president of Canada. He owes Canada nothing. But yeah, here we go. Because of the kook to the South. Screw that. I didn't like it. I'm going to remember it on October 26th. Believe me, if Carrio runs again. And I like Vince. He's a good guy. Believe me. Maybe the smartest guy in council at times, but sometimes these people, their wokeness and TDS get the better of them. Didn't get by me, Vince. Stop it. Item 8.2, Spring Blossom Drive development. Let's get on to that now. Discussion was lively, with several residents in the area appearing at council to appeal their case to deny the build. Of course, planners gave the go-ahead to it, and it's now in the hands of city council. And this is where the sideshow comes in. Of course, planners don't work on emotion. They don't work on whether the build is fits in an area, fits in an infill. They just know they got to have something built. It meets all the criteria of the planners, of the province, municipality, region, everything. It works in there. The setbacks are right. Everything is okay with it. So they say yes, and they advise council to approve it. Now, does council have to approve it? No, they don't. The process, we all know. If council says no to a plan that's been approved by our planners, then the developer has a chance to take it to the OLT. And the OLT is going to rule on planning matters. Does it fit? And yes, it does. And they're gonna rule against city council, 100% against city council, because it was recommended they approve it by their planners, and there's nothing wrong with the development, and tears and emotions don't come into play. It's either right or it's wrong. Now, what council has to do, if they said no, is they're going to have to find some planner somewhere who's going to take their side. Yet every planner works by the same parameters, the same rules in Ontario. So where are they going to find somebody that'll take their side? Probably not gonna. And if they do, it's going to cost a lot of money. And then they got to go to OLT and explain why they think it's a bad development. And they can't say because we don't like it in there. It's not. Believe me, I've been through this whole process 30 years ago. Very same thing, infilling a piece of property that was a field we used to play football in when we were kids. We took it to OMB. We got some concessions, but that was it. The development's there. It's beautiful. Now, what really got me in this meeting was Councillor Van Nieuwesteeg. She stood up for a good 20 minutes at $1,600 an hour, asking the process of council saying no, what's going to happen. Now, after 4 years, she don't know this. Now, if she was doing it for the crowd, forget about it. They already know too. Don't worry about it. They know. This is just a waste of time, and I truly believe she don't know. I mean, why does she continually get up and ask this? We know the process. We know what happens. It wasted Miss Dolce's time, and what was even more disturbing is she's trying to have the planner commit to saying that it'll be 100% turned down. Well, that's not her decision. She's not the OLT. She can't tell you what the OLT is going to decide. That's not what she's hired for, to make these decisions. That's why council makes the decisions. And she did her best to get her to say something out of line. And there's no way she could guarantee the OLT is going to turn down the developer. They're going to tell the developer, yes, go ahead. They're going to give them the green light. They're going to make the decision that council couldn't make. So why go through 20 minutes of this, question after question after question, trying to nail down the planners? Miss Dolch squirming in her seat because she can't come out. She knows what's going to happen when this goes to the OLT, but she can't say that. Her job isn't to do that. So it was just ridiculous, a joke. And I don't get it. I don't get these people. I don't get them at all. I mean, come on. And I know, and I have to truly believe that maybe she just don't know what the procedure is. That's why she kept pushing it. It was just ridiculous. But truth is stranger than fiction, my friends. Don't be a chooch. Oh yeah, Vince Carroll, don't be a chooch. This is for you too. And of course, none of the councilors like the bill. Blah 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 dee blah 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 boo. We don't like it. And of course, they said no. They don't like it. And to be honest with you, if you want my opinion, I don't like it neither. I don't like it neither. I don't like it one bit. And but you know what? If I was sitting on that council, I would have voted in favor of it because that's what's going to happen anyway. That's what's going to happen anyway. I know I don't like it. Sorry, there, residents. I don't like it neither, but it's the way it is. It's the mandate to build more houses faster. It's just what it is. It is what it is. And I felt sorry for the developers a little bit. They're local people with local investors who want to build this thing. And they really tried to take into account the neighbors and everything else. When they built this thing, there was a question about garbage. There was going to be a pad up front. They said, no, it's going to be out back. Don't worry about that. It's not going to be in the front of the building. And there's a lot of different questions and concerns that they answered all of them. And they really did seem sincere about making this the best build that they could make, right? But city council turned it down. Now it's going to go to the OLT if the developer decides to take that route. He said he spent over $100,000 on the project already to get all the studies done and everything else. So I can't see him not going to OLT. And if he goes to OLT, he basically, because of the discussion Councillor Van Nieuwesteeg had with Dolch, I think that what's going to happen is there was a very clear indication that this was pretty well guaranteed to be, council's decision was guaranteed to be overturned by the OLT, and this guy's going to get his chance to build. I mean, you could just hear by the way they were talking. And it's always tough for council. They have to make some tough decision in the face of residents, and that's part of being on city council. I really believe they blew this one. The residents are going to, whether they like it or not, they're going to. This bill is going to proceed. I mean, council may have made them feel better for Tuesday when they left, but they're not going to get their wish. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I can almost guarantee you that I'm right. Item 8.4, Fraser Street development. We're going to get into this. I'm going to get to my second sponsor, though, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue first, and then we're going to get into Fraser Street because this is another really interesting one. And I knew these planning items would be interesting and been great to listen to. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Why are they so good? I send people there and they tell me that it was fantastic. And I don't doubt it for a minute because they know how to make a pizza. They use the Mancini family recipe, been around for 41 years for their sauce and their crust. Then they blend brick and mozzarella cheese to get that nice stretch and taste. They put it on with the right ratios to the sauce. And that's so important because you want the taste of the sauce with the taste of the cheese. And then that crust is beautiful. You can't miss. Add to that any fresh toppings you like. My favorite is the works. Oh, that's fantastic. Pete's Works. Yeah. And you got yourself a winner. You can't beat it. I'm telling you, it's consistency. Time after time. That's where the secret lies. But they just don't have that. They have a full menu. Chicken wings. They do great wings, by the way. The nice big ones, done perfect. They have the steak and cheese sandwich, steak and cheese poutine, regular poutine, fries, panzerotti, chicken parm sandwiches. You name it, they have it. It's all good. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. How do you get it? Well, you dial 905 374 2222. That's one way. They use Dine, they use Skip. That's two ways. They deliver. That's three ways. No problem getting one of these beautiful pizzas. And by the way, they're open till 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday for your convenience, midnight during the week. And they opened a new location on Thoroldstone Road and Kaler Road for the people in the northwest part of the city. How can you beat it? How can you beat it? Pete's Pizza Victoria Avenue, support our sponsors. They support the show. They're good corporate citizens, and we love to support small business in Niagara Falls. Okay, over to Fraser Street now. Once again, we see an existing industry voicing concerns about this development using the same tactics as Paulfinger. Bigger and better if the build is stopped. And why is this a recurring theme? Because there's no reason for anybody to turn this down other than businesses trying to go there. Now, I think a lot of it comes down to two things: liability. If something happens, then they're responsible. And number two is just complaints. You get a lot of complaints about noise and this and that, and then you get the MOE down there investigating whatever people see and hear. Noise complaints. They come in and they do the decibel levels and everything else, right? So they'd rather not see it. But good planning is good planning, and it's going to happen. Especially with oleo industries, there could be exposure to dangerous chemicals, and it's really really funny. They come up with this fear mongering, and council listens intently, looking for a way to turn the developments down to appease the industry. Right? Oh, geez, oleo, they're going to move. They got to get over that. Is this a good planning thing? Does it meet all the requirements and everything? And it's really funny because SciTech came to council and said, we need a buffer zone of 2 kilometers in a big circle around our plant. Because if anything happens, people are going to be in trouble. And what they do, well, they built everything around there anyway, city council. They okayed all these planning matters. The hospitals within the buffer zone, I believe. They're building big subdivisions around the hospital in the buffer zone. So all of a sudden, they care about this plant, Oleo. And when it comes down to it, the city planner made the best point is what else can you do with these small plots of land? There's no industry that's going to, even though it's zoned industrial, and this goes back to, I think, 2024 when the Fourth Avenue Milek rink came up. It was zoned industrial land, and the same with the one on Fraser Street and George Street. They okayed the building to change the residential on Fourth Avenue, but they didn't okay Fraser and George Street. Now it comes back to council again, and they're asking for the same thing to make residential out of it. But the city planner said, yeah, that's fine. It's industrial employment land, they call it now. But at the end of the day, what are you going to build there? There's nothing you can build on there. There's small plots of land. They're good for an apartment building, but not for any kind of serious business. Better for residential. And that was our planner's point. I mean, the neighbors, of course, they're worried about traffic. They have traffic concerns. Stanley Avenue is busy, but they've done traffic studies and not a big deal. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they should okay this. But our council sometimes is wishy-washy, afraid to make a decision. They have to be decisive and rule accordingly to set parameters, and they have to meet parameters set out by the city, the region, the province, and that. And if it meets the criteria, they have to approve it. And same with Spring Blossom. You can't be sending everything to the OLT because some residents don't like it. We know that no residents like it. Let's face it. But the coup de grace was really delivered by Rocky Vaca. I think that was his name, the lawyer. He got up and delivered the killer blow, saying that the houses were there long before Oleo. It's not the houses that are intruding on Oleo. Oleo decided to be there, intruding on the 30 or 40 houses around that area, George Street, Fraser Street, and over across the Roadstone Road. There's a motel and there's other buildings on Cynics Avenue, and a brand new one right behind the French church over here, just to the east of me. They built a big subdivision right in the back, and Mike Strange, he made the point, 57 meters away, and they were okay to be built. This is farther away, and they're saying they want them to say no. Oleo said, oh, they put up a big fence in that. If you're worried about explosions and everything else, all this bad stuff, a big fence isn't going to help anything. So, I mean, there's a precedent here. And Rocky Vaca, that lawyer, he said that the houses were there before Oleo. Oleo decided to build their plant right by all these houses, and then they okayed another development even closer. So this is just a pile of crap from Oleo. Strangely enough, this lawyer is the same lawyer being used by Mike Strange in his alleged assault case. That's pretty wild. Is there a conflict here? Mike Strange getting up to talk to this with his lawyer sitting there talking? I don't know. But the bill was approved only by a vote of the mayor as council, and it was tied 4-4 on the matter. And another interesting thing was that Terry Masterson owns a house on Fraser Street. Councilor Strange works for Masterson Realty. Now, I don't know if Terry Masterson has anything to do with that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I know his brother Tim does for sure. It's called Masterson Realty. But if Terry Masterson is part owner of that realty company, there's a conflict with Mike working for them. Is there not? No, I don't know. I'm just mentioning that. I don't know who owns Masterson Realty. I don't know who the broker is, who owns it, or anything else. I'm just saying that I'm going to look into that one, or somebody's going to. If anybody out there knows, let me know. And my apologies if I'm wrong. I'd like to know. There's always conflicts of interest with everything, especially to do with real estate when Mike Strange is a real estate salesman. There comes a time when you got to say, there's some of these decisions help him out. What if Masterson Realty, who he works for, is going to be the one that's hired to sell all these units? I mean, it's to his best interest if that gets okayed. I'm just saying. I'm not saying anything is true. I don't know. I'm just saying. And that goes for anybody on city council um, who makes decisions on things with the tourist industry and actually owns property or works for the tourist industry. There's a lot of conflicts that we never get seen come to fruition that people should be declaring. Okay, so they okayed that. It was tied 4-4 on the matter. Mayor Jim made the decisive vote to say, okay, they can go ahead. So they're going ahead. And that's the right call. That is the right call. Council did it right this time. It took Mayor Jim to do the one, but he wasn't wishy-washy on that one. Right away, he said, I approve it. Done. Another few items that we see, 12.9 and 12.10. Which is where city council totally lost their minds. Seriously, this council is wacky. The strange matter of Jody Burdett and his complaint to the OLT. Now get this. He launched a complaint against council as a whole. One complaint against all of council. Cost $500, which he paid. So the integrity commissioner said, well, you should be launching this against every councilor, not a council as a whole. It's about every individual councilor. This complaint wasn't with every individual councilor. It was about them as a whole. One. That's it. What did he get charged? $500 because it's one. So this comes up at the meeting, and Councilor Carrio, remember he's the one who called Trump a kook earlier in the meeting. He got the bright idea that Burdett should have been charged for the council complaint, $500 for each councilor, and $500 for the mayor, so $4,500. He only paid $500, so he wanted council to vote and okay sending Burdett a bill for $4,000. And council voted to do it, except for Lori Lococo. Councilor Lococo voted against sending him the bill. Everybody else put their hands up. They couldn't get him up fast enough for both Jody Burdett. Now he's going to get a bill for $4,000. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And it's definitely a vendetta against Jody Burdett. Come on. It's ridiculous. You're going to send him a bill for $4,000. Now, sure, Jody Burdett gave a delegation by video talking about this whole thing, although I don't think he knew he was going to get a bill for $4,000. And to me, it's like, first of all, they shouldn't have done this. I mean, come on. He has a right to go up there and complain and file complaints. It's their rules. He's going by their rules. He didn't make the rules up. He's going by their rules. He pays the money. He makes the complaint. When he paid the $500, they should have told him, no, you can't file $500 for a complaint against all of city council. That would be $4,500, $500 for each councilor and $500 for the mayor. But no, they didn't. They took the $500 and said, okay, we're going to throw the complaint in. Nobody said he couldn't do it. It was only the integrity commissioner when he went in there and said, oh, no, this should be $500. He makes money, this guy. Sure, he'd want $4,500. But after the fact, you've paid the money, you got the okay, you've launched the complaint, then after the fact, they're going to come after him for $4,000? Come on. Come on. I mean, if the ombudsman or whatever he's called doesn't get involved in this ripoff, I don't even know. Nothing will. I know Jody's going to go to the ombudsman for this. I mean, you got to. This is like crooked business. This is unbelievable. So we'll see what happens now. But can you imagine after the fact, after the integrity commissioners ruled, and that they send him a bill for $4,000, they said he didn't pay enough. You do that when he goes up to apply. You don't do it after. Oh man, I don't know. This council, I'm serious. This council is way out there. They're way out there. 11.1, 11.6, items 11.1 flag raisings. Somebody finally listening to me? For 3 years, I've been saying don't raise flags. Now, the city's going to review its flag raising policy. And it's long overdue, I'll tell you that right now. For me, it's not about money. It's about geopolitics and start it with one, and then everybody wants a flag. And that's exactly what's happening. I've been saying it for 3 years. No flag raisings. Not one. Not for anybody. Not for Kosovo. Not for Serbia. Not for Italy. Nobody gets a flag raised. And what the city's finding, it costs a lot of money. You got to have staff there. They got to have the ceremony. They raise the flag. And now there's one flag request a day. They had 6 at the last meeting. And this is what happens when you start this crap. And this was my point all along. Not to mention the geopolitical aspects. You raise the Azerbaijani flag, and they're really bad with human rights abuses and everything else. You raise the Serbian, you got the other guys. You raise this flag, you got them. You raise the Palestinian flag, and you got the Israelis over here. It never ends. Everybody's fighting in the world. You raise their flag, and somebody hates it. 3 flags. Canada. City in Ontario, those 3 flags, they're the ones that should be up. City flag, Ontario flag, and Canadian flag. That's all. That's all we want on the flagpoles. No rainbow flags, no Italian flags, no Serbian, no Ukrainian flags, no Russian flags, no flags. I said it a million times. They're finally listening. Let's hope they just come down with a policy that says no. And it's always that thing. You raise their flag. You don't want to raise mine. That's discrimination. That's racism. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe Council Carrier, you can blame it on Trump, this whole problem here. But that's about all I have to say about the council meeting. That's about all the stuff that came up. I mean, there's more stuff. You can go through it if you want to watch the video. I watched the whole video, and these are the things that stood out to me. The rest were pretty well run through. It was crazy. It was a marathon city council meeting. As the night wore on, the councilors got goofier. They had to have a thing to a vote to extend it past 10 o'clock. It went to about 11, I think. I mean, they've been sitting around there since 2 in the afternoon, 9 hours. By 9 o'clock, they're gassed. They're gassed. They just want to get through this stuff. And even when Rocky Vaca, or whatever his name is, got up there talking, he goes, "Oh, I'm, this is going to extend this meeting. I know you all want to get out of here," and that, because people know. And I think that when there's a lot of planning matters, council has to use common sense and say, okay, let's deal with the planning matters in a separate meeting. Because they're the ones that seem to take the most time. Now, me personally, I would say get rid of all the fluff. I've been talking about this for years. Get rid of the awards, get rid of the delegations, get rid of all this crap, and have it move to a venue that reflects exactly what it is. In other words, sports awards, you have at the Gale Center. Arts and Culture Awards, you have at the Exchange. Anything else goes to the McBain Center. They get recognized. They can do it on camera. There can be a video of it, and get it out of city council meetings. That's, it doesn't have to be there. It's nice, but city council meetings are long enough as it is. You don't need 2 hours of fluff. right? I mean, they're trying to curtail the grandstanding and the baloney by putting 5 minute limits on these people, on the counselors as well as the audience, and that's another good point. Jody Burnett, you have 5 minutes. Ruth Van Nieuwsteek stood up there for at least 20 minutes, going on and on and on about the OLT and what happens. The thing was going off, and nobody told her to sit down and shut up. Different rules. There's rules, and then there are rules, like Father Leo said. So I think when you get to a 9 hour marathon, bad decisions are being made. People aren't interested anymore. The viewing public shuts it off. They've had enough. And I really had enough when Van Nieuwsteek started talking about stuff. I turned it off and went and watched the hockey game and watched it another time. But yeah, yeah, I mean, this city's growing. We got 100,000 people, and there's just too much to do in one session. There needs to be two sessions. Sure, you can have one if there's no planning matters. We saw that a couple weeks ago. No planning matters. Yeah, you can have one meeting and you got 2 or 3 4 hour meeting. But when you have all these 6 planning matters that you have to deal with, presentations by city planners, presentations by developer planners, and then the crowd in there wanting to talk to it, it just takes too long. You need a separate meeting for that, and that's what they should do. That's my take on it. Okay, let's jump over to Davos in Switzerland, and didn't help Canada any. Carnage wants a full war with the U.S., thinking that NATO and his communist buddies will back him. I think he's in for a big surprise. He can't even keep his own country together now. Now even Premier Ford is mad at him at the deal he made sleeping with the Chinese, and he's mad that he's allowing 50,000 electric vehicles into Canada. And when they say they're going to let them into Canada, 80% will be in Ontario. Let's face it, this is where the action is, Ontario and Quebec. So if the car companies in Ontario and Quebec aren't hit hard enough by the tariffs that Carnage allowed to happen, he couldn't make a deal. And they're going to even get hammered worse when these cheap Chinese vehicles come in. And believe me, these vehicles are a lot less expensive, and they are nice. Anybody who has one and drives it says they're out of this world. So Carnage can't even keep his own country together now. Alberta wants out. They're being wooed by the U.S. as Trump makes the deal for Greenland. Canada's falling farther behind. But yet, he's making deals with the enemy. And it really makes me laugh because when you get down to it, Carney is Canada's number one climate change hoax believers, right? I mean, we get hit by a carbon tax to change the climate. Oh yeah, trillions of dollars to politicians is going to change climate. Canadians believe that. And we're forced to pay it on a lot of stuff. The same country who's doing that is jumping in bed with China, who is the worst offender in the world. They don't give a damn about carbon. They don't give a damn about climate change. They couldn't care less. They're not even adhering to anything. So the guy who's pushing it the most is now sleeping with the country that don't care less about it. I mean, just am I losing my hair? I think I am. I think I'm losing my hair. You know why? I'm pulling it out. Oh man, oh man. And then we got the WEF. How is the WEF dominating the world? Davos is the place for the meeting of the WEF, the World Economic Forum, founded by Klaus Schwab, who was the biggest globalist ever. And they wanted to control the world. Klaus Schwab was the one who said, "You will have nothing and be happy." Get it? You will have nothing and be happy. That's Klaus Schwab. They want to break you with their climate change ripoff. Other schemes like digital currency, economic disparity, taking your money and giving it to others. You will have nothing and be happy. And a big proponent of open borders. Oh, of course, yeah, we're going to flood your country with immigrants. That amounts to an invasion, not really immigration. And they're going to screw up your country and ruin it. Yeah, they call it globalization. Woo! International cooperation, sure. Free movement of goods, services, and people. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't want you to be Canadian or American or Mexican or Japanese. They want you to be some kind of a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world. That's what they want. And open the borders to everybody. Let everybody in. We'll give them everything for free. Well, they need help. Global outlook on the world, that never works, of course. They install their people into government. Mark Carnage, Trudeau, Biden, whoever else is over in Europe, who knows who the hell is running them? They change like crazy. And then they take over the governments and they put their agenda onto the people. Yeah, Carnage, Trudeau, Biden, Obama, all of them, all wealth. Leaders around the world are the same thing. Now, Trump spoke at Davos. And, presidents don't usually speak there, but he did. And this is the second time. And he gave them all a dressing down. Oh, yeah. He spoke for a little while. I watched a half of it, 3/4 of it. It was really good. What he said, he pressed his case for Greenland for the security of the world, saying it will greatly enhance the security of the entire NATO alliance, saying we want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones, which is what they're becoming. Now, NATO has to give Trump credit. He forced these countries that weren't paying a dime, with America picking up the tab, to kick in not only 2% that they were supposed to kick in but weren't paying, but 5% to support NATO. NATO should be thankful to Trump, but they're not really. Two, he defended tariffs as a central tool of leverage used to get other countries to change their behavior. And we've seen it many times. It's worked in real time across the world as Trump secures concessions that would not have been possible otherwise, and even stop wars because of it. He hammered them on the green energy scam, is what he called it. And it's just a scam set up for China to send windmills to stupid people. And he's right. When discussing energy policy, particularly renewable power, he dismissed green policies as the new green scam in reference to the EU's new Green Deal and called it perhaps the greatest hoax in history, adding that wind turbines ruin landscapes while losing money. He said stupid people buy them and accused China of profiting from all this renewable energy while relying on other energy sources themselves. He said, I've been to China. Up there goes the sander right now. Look at that. He's sanding our road, even though we need a plow. He's sanding the road. But you know what? He says, I've been to China. I haven't seen one windmill. They don't even use them. No, they make them and sell them to stupid people like Canada and the United States. And he also said Europe is not even recognizable anymore. He said parts of Europe have declined economically and politically, adding that changes were not for the positive. So this WEF, World Economic Forum, and globalism doesn't work. He blames European governments for weakening themselves through energy and economic policy. They are destroying themselves. He said the USA is the economic engine on the planet. When America booms, the entire world booms, and he's right about that. He's right about that. When there's good times in America, there's good times all over the world. Trump went on to say he is working every day to ensure our military is very powerful, our borders are very strong, and above all, our economy is strong because national security requires economic security and economic prosperity. There you go. That was a statement to Davos, his take on Canada. Not very nice. He says we are going to build a golden dome that by its nature is going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us. By the way, they should be grateful, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. They should be grateful to us, Canada, because Canada lives because of the United States. I mean, Carney has to remember that when he makes his statements. And it's a clear cut warning to Carnage. He's saying he's going to go to war against the U.S. if he has to. How ridiculous of a statement is that? And this is his attitude. Rather than working with the United States to make North America better for everybody, including Canada, Carnage is doing all he can to work against the United States and Trump. It doesn't make a lick of sense, but it's happening. Now, somebody I was reading said there's going to be an election in the spring so that Carnage can lock down his majority. And you know what? If he does call an election in the spring, he's going to lock it down. I will guarantee you he's going to lock it down. The media is pumping him up like he went to Davos and made this great speech for Canada. And it was nothing. Canada is nothing. But I'm going to tell you, if he does call an election in the spring again to secure his majority, I will guarantee you he will win a majority. He just missed last time. People are crossing the floor. The conservatives do not have a dynamic personality as a leader. I don't think they can stop him from getting a majority. And I believe Carney will be fighting a war with the USA. Oh, yeah. But it's not going to be Canada versus USA. It's going to be China versus USA. And Canada will be fighting with China. I think that's what Carnage is really talking about. If China and the USA went to war right now, Carnage would probably send troops for China. Oh, they fight with China. Oh, Chinese were already in Canada practicing cold weather fighting in northern Alberta. They've already been here. That's a known fact. What are they doing here? They don't have cold weather in China to practice their war games? No, they're here for a reason. This going to bed with China is not good. It's not good at all. But here we are. And of course, Carnage was at Davos with his big speech calling on middle powers to create a new world order. Hey, somebody finally said new world order. It's happening. And Canada is a proponent. There they are. Create a new world order that encompasses our values such as respect for human rights, sustainable development, solidarity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of various states, all aimed at defying the USA rather than working for peace in the world. Use the term great powers. I mean, why not just say what he means? He's such a snake. Say what you mean, America. Great powers, America. It's the same word. Did anyone pay attention to his speech? Nah, not really. Not really. When asked if by the press if Russia and China were threats, Carnage only talked about Russia. He wouldn't even approach talking about China. I mean, China's a bigger threat than Russia, probably. And as Carnage taxes us to death with climate change taxes, his carbon taxes, China breaks every rule in the book, and he couldn't care less about that. Never says nothing about that. They're the biggest offenders. An interesting conflict of interest, yet being in bed with China supersedes any climate change agenda because he really doesn't care about it. Okay, that's it for me today. I'm done. I know you agree with me. You don't agree with me. Leave comments. Tell me what you think. I don't know. That's the way I see it. Am I right? Who knows? Who knows? Nobody can predict the future. But I know one thing. Canada is is so far out of it, it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. Tomorrow, finally Friday. Okay, the agenda for city council meeting next week will be out. I'm going to see if Wheels wants to come in. I never got him in for last one. It's supposed to snow heavy on Sunday. I might not even be in the studio, so Wheels won't be in. But if I am, I'll see if I can get Wheels in, see what he has to say. He always has good input. Um, the agenda should be out right now, probably by about now. It's already out. I will be checking it out and talking about the highlights, a little bit of the highlights of it tomorrow. I'll get into it on Monday, the full agenda, top to bottom, and then Tuesday will be the budget meeting. I mean, this is it, operations budget. See what they say, see if the councilors did their homework, see if they can find any efficiencies for us poor slob taxpayers who never seem to get a break from anyone. See if they can find something for us. Don't hold your breath. They never do. But I did. I found about 10 million or so. So, maybe they will this time. Who knows? Hopefully they go through the budget and actually have some input. They usually don't have any input. Go along to get along. What are you going to do? So we'll see what happens next week. I'll see you tomorrow, finally Friday. I'll talk a little bit about the agenda on Tuesday and anything else going on in the world. Who knows what's going to happen? It's a wacky world out there. Things are happening fast. And we still got Iran, what's going on over there. We got Russia, Ukraine. We have Minnesota and Tampon Tim, who's probably going to end up in jail. What else we got going on? Venezuela, rolling good. They're selling all kinds of oil, giving money back to the Venezuelan people. Either way, God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in. Leave some comments. Leave a thumbs up, thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. That's it. Another day, another dollar. Here we go. I'm going out to shovel. Enjoy the sunny day if you can. It's chilly out there, so dress up warm and be careful on the roads. Ours haven't been plowed yet. The main streets may be okay. And watch out for icy patches with this temperature going up and down. It could be crazy out there. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 12 noon. Promises made, promises kept. Your city, your voice. Paul K. Lemire, studios of Video Sign Incorporated today. Usually out of the studios of 4680Q Radio. See you later, everybody. Enjoy the weather.